In this video, I'm going to talk about the best and most accurate way to measure body fat. In general, when you're talking about measuring body fat, there are two ways to do it. Either expensive and therefore impractical, or relatively inexpensive and completely inaccurate. I remember back when I was in the Army, we used to do something called the tape test. Okay, basically you'd put a tape measure around a guy's neck and around his waist. You'd put that into a table that we had, and you'd figure out using those two measurements and his weight what his approximate body fat was. And the fact of the matter is that was very inaccurate. I mean, you get somebody with a pencil neck and you get somebody with a wrestler's neck who weigh the same amount and who have the same waist measurement, and you can get two completely different readings. Really was not a very accurate way to measure body fat. And I had the opportunity to talk to some really important people in the Army about it personally, because I did something that we called back in the day Master Fitness Trainer. It was basically like a personal training course for the Army. And during that time, we had all the guys that were really into, they had a lot to do with the new PT uniforms that are coming out, the new types of PT, the new manual. And I asked them, I was like, why do we do this tape test? It seems completely inaccurate. And he said, yes, it is completely inaccurate. However, it's consistent, okay? Because the thing is, if you use a skin fold caliper test, basically take a pinch of skin in certain places with calipers, and you put the measurements once again into a table, you'll come out with body fat. And depending upon how many skin folds you use, how many different areas you use, you'll get a more accurate method. If you do the same measurement 2-3 times and use the average for the average skin fold thickness for each area, put them into the table, you'll get an even more accurate thing. But the fact of the matter is that is not consistent. The same person can use the same calipers to test the same subject 2-3 times, and they'll get 2-3 different body fat percentages. It will be closer, than taping the neck and the waist, but it's not going to be, consistent, even if the person's trained. And it's a pain in the ass to get somebody trained up to use calipers. Okay, so like I said, it's a less effective method to use, less accurate to use, taping the neck and the waist, but that's what the military uses because at least it's consistent. And then after that, you start to get into other things. There are ways where you hold a machine and it puts current through your left hand into your right hand, or you stand on a scale and it goes from your left foot into your right foot. And depending upon the resistance to the current passing through your body, the computer can kind of figure out a little bit of what your body fat percentage is. But the fact of the matter is, these are all really, a lot of them are inconsistent. Like I said, just do the test 2-3 times in a row and you'll get 2-3 different measurements. And also the same thing is the measurements are not very accurate. So let's talk about something that is more accurate. There are things where they shoot infrared, beam into you, and depending upon, what bounces back from the beam, they'll find out how much body fat you have. There's an x-ray machine that can be used for this. Obviously, it's not healthy to have x-rays being done to you on a regular basis. Okay, once in a while it's okay, but on a regular basis. And that's really the question here. Why do you even want to know what your body fat percentage is? I remember back in the day, for instance, there was a test. It was called it was a protein company called, was it Premier Protein or something like that? They tested people by, giving some of them their protein supplement. And what it was is a protein company paid a university to do this test. Okay, so there was money involved, and they basically used an immersion test. They immersed everyone in water and, got a really pretty accurate measurement of their body fat at the beginning and at the end of the test. And once again, all it was is, hey, this is your body fat at the beginning, and then after training like this and using our supplement, they lowered or whatever their body fat so much, gained so much lean mass, whatever. So the thing is, that was basically like bragging rights, okay? you know, if you have a lot of money, you might want to be like, hey, get your body fat professionally tested. I mean, immersion tests, you know, infrared, you know, there's something else. They put you in like an egg, you know, and this, you know, they basically test very accurately your body fat. But you really can't do that very often. If you have the money, do it maybe at the end and the beginning of your transformation, just for bragging rights of how much body fat you changed, you know, what your body composition change was. But other than that, you know, why do you really want to test your body fat? You want to test your body fat to figure out maybe your calories, okay? Like your lean weight needs so many calories a day to exist upon. Whether you want to gain or lose weight, you're going to have to obviously add or subtract calories. So the more you know of what your lean mass is, the better you're going to be able to, you know, approximate how many calories you're going to need in the beginning. But that, how many calories you need, and I keep saying this, it changes all the damn time. I mean, you know, if two people, one guy works in an office, one guy, you know, works in a warehouse, they're going to be, you know, having, even if they're the exact same lean mass, they're still going to have two different amounts of calories they need. If one person works in a warehouse and the other person works in the warehouse, but the one guy's the foreman, he's going to need, you know, they're going to have different calories because the one guy's carrying boxes all day. I mean, maybe the other guy who's a foreman is a little bit like he's the boss, so he's worried and burning calories because of, you know, stress or whatever. I mean, he might need, you really basically need to just make the best approximation of how many calories you need, okay? Figure out what's going into your body and then change from there. And that's the reason why I think it's really stupid to say what body fat percentage you are, because you need to know what's happening to your body on a weekly basis, okay? And like I said, I mean, you can't, from a health point of view, shoot x-rays into your body every week just to test your body fat. You know, from a financial standpoint, you can't every week just, you know, run up and do an immersion test or, you know, an IR test or whatever to get a really accurate measurement. And everything else is inaccurate. So what I say you do, instead of worrying about testing your body fat percentage at all, is what you want to do is you want to know how your body is progressing. Okay, you want to know basically, is your, you know, are you gaining or losing muscle? Are you gaining or losing fat? What's happening to your body? And by doing this once a week, you will be able to find out if your diet and exercise program are working and how to change them to get better results. So what I'm basically saying is you should measure yourself, okay? What I do every Saturday morning, because I don't work out on the weekends. Monday through Friday I work out, Saturday, Sunday I do not. Depending upon what kind of a diet, I might do a cheat day on Saturday. If I'm doing the steak and eggs diet, I'll carb up on Saturday. So Saturday morning, before I eat or drink anything whatsoever, even water, I wake up, go to the bathroom, and immediately after that, I weigh myself, okay? And I measure at least my waist before eating or drinking anything. In general, I measure everything, and I'm going to have to do a video about this, but I find a consistent placement for the tape measure on chest, which measures chest and back, of course, upper arm, lower arm, upper leg, lower leg, and like I said, the waist, and I also weigh myself. And now by doing this, I can tell on a week-to-week basis. I still obviously have no idea what my body fat percentage is, but I'll tell you one thing. If I gain weight and my waist stays the same, I do not gain weight, and my waist does not get bigger, then I'm obviously gaining muscle, okay? If, you know, I gain weight or I lose weight or whatever and my waist gets bigger, I'm obviously putting on fat, okay? If I lose weight or if I maintain my weight or whatever and my waist gets smaller, I know I'm losing fat. So that's the point. The point is to consistently make the same measurements, okay, in the same places, the same exact measurements every single week under the same conditions. Like I said, Saturday morning after I wake up, first thing in the morning, after I use the toilet, okay, before I eat or drink anything, I make the measurement. So it's the exact same conditions. And then, like I said, on a week-to-week basis, I can tell what's happening to me, you know, whether I'm growing here or losing here, or what's happening with my weight. And then I have a relative measurement compared to the weeks before. And that's basically all you really need. You know, who cares what your body fat percentage is? The important thing is, am I gaining or losing weight? Does that mean that I'm gaining or losing muscle? Those are the important things you need to know. So like I said, you know, the only two ways to measure your body fat per se are too expensive to do consistently, which means what's the use if you can't do it at least once a week, or too inaccurate or too inconsistent to really get a reliable result, in which case, why are you doing it at all? So like I said, just basically measure yourself and weigh yourself once a week under the same conditions, and then you still won't know what your body fat percentage is, but you'll at least know if your body fat percentage is increasing or decreasing.